This is an interesting predicament for me. For context for all of you, I've been working on my Resident Evil Village critique script for, oh good Christ, 3 years now. And I'm just picking away at the character section, and I'm reading it back, and I'm thinking about it, and I think I need to take a step back and reevaluate. I need to see if I'm being too reactionary here, because I'm getting this tiny little voice in the back of my head telling me that I'm not being fair. And it might be because I'm being reactionary, because I've learned whenever I am reactionary about something, I'm usually wrong. So you can put me in the background. I'm just going to be talking to myself for the most part, but I thought it would be interesting for you to see my kind of thought process whenever something like this happens. Okay. I like the family in Resident Evil 7. Why? Because they each have their own unique personality that is represented in their individual areas, and we can pick up on those personalities even with our limited interactions with them. Do we actually spend little time with them, or am I just too used to how I play the game? I'm used to how I play the game. First-time players and people who don't play often, people who don't know how it works, don't know how to make Jack and Marguerite not be a threat. So for them, they will be constant threats. But that's just gameplay, that isn't narrative. Narratively, we don't interact with them much. Well, that's true, but their actions in the gameplay also reflect their personalities. Jack is a brute. He uses his strength. He busts down walls, breaks tables and doors, and chases you around with a giant hammer and chainsaw scissors. Marguerite isn't physically strong. She throws bugs at you. Lucas plays games and doesn't confront you directly. I think they're executed fairly well overall. Okay, so the crux of the issue. How do I subjectively feel about the Family 2.0 in Village? I only like Heisenberg. Why? Because I feel like the others' personalities are not as strong, not as present, and we don't spend enough time with the characters to know what their personalities are in the first place. Okay, so we start with this. How much time do we spend with them? Dimitrescu, we got that scene where she's arguing with Heisenberg, and we can pick up on details about her character from that. In the castle, when not playing like a fucking tryhard, it's a decent amount of time because you need to avoid her and her daughters when going around the castle. Beneviento? Even with the heavy technicality with her using the doll to communicate, it's not much. Our introduction is when we wake up and the doll is looking at us and it says we're awake, then it runs away and it doesn't do anything else. Then we go to the house and try to take the flask, but the lights go out. The doll says 1 or 2 lines and we don't get anything else until we go upstairs. And we actually see Beneviento for a few seconds, and then it's back to the doll, which we stab, and that's it. So not a lot of time. Moreau. Barely any, but more than Beneviento. We see him in that same scene when we wake up, then 1, 2 cutscenes with him? 2. And then we hear him kind of talk to himself in the gameplay, so... Actually, we do get some time with him, we just don't interact with him much. Heisenberg. We meet him before all of the others when he catches us at the castle. We get him arguing with Dimitrescu, and then he starts talking to us right after we get the key from the lake. If we count him talking to us through the loudspeakers and the TVs as us interacting with him, then it's a fairly large amount. If we do not, then we only have those cutscenes at the beginning and the cutscenes at the factory, which would make that about as much as Dimitrescu. Conclusion, we actually do get a fair amount of time with them, all except Beneviento. Okay, so now, what do I know about them? They do not act like the family in 7. That's intentional. That's the point. They all behave like actual children. They maintain a sibling dynamic with the oldest and the youngest arguing and the two in the middle just watching. Miranda calls them her sons and daughters, her adopted sons and daughters, calls them her family because they didn't immediately turn into lichens or die. With the exception of Heisenberg, they feel special because of that. They will do what Miranda says, and Heisenberg will listen until he's ready to strike. They are experiments to Miranda. They are not meant to feel like a family. They are meant to feel dysfunctional. They are meant to feel out of place because they are failed experiments. Okay, the characters themselves. How do I feel about Dimitrescu? I don't like her. Okay. Why? Is it because of her character? Or is it because of the internet's reception? Am I being reactionary? Okay. Ignore the internet being down bad. What do I know about Alcina Dimitrescu? She sees herself as above the others. She feels it is degrading. She doesn't like being treated as a sibling or equal to the others. She feels that she is special. She should not be treated the same. She is very posh. She maintains the feeling that she is upper class with how she walks and moves and speaks. When it comes to Miranda and her decisions, she believes she's the one that Miranda should choose. She's the one that can do things right. When that doesn't happen, or she thinks Miranda isn't listening to her, she gets angry. When it comes to her daughters, she is protective. She fills the mother role. She gets very angry when Ethan kills one of them, and later still angry but also bewildered that 3 of them got taken out by a human. The rest of the time is what we see in gameplay. How much of her character is told to us with diaries and journals, and how much is shown to us? Most of it is shown. The only real thing told is how she personally feels about the whole family thing in the meeting in her diary. Which makes sense. It makes sense that she would put her personal feelings about that in her diary. Is her personality represented in the environment? Yes, it's a damn castle. Is it represented in her gameplay with her finger knives and such? Now, there, I'm not sure. She doesn't become a threat until after you kill her first daughter. So the idea is that she's pissed off that you killed her daughter and she's hunting you down. You will pay for what you've done. But she's walking. She waits. She adjusts her hat. She cares about her dress. I would expect more aggression considering the circumstances. Comparatively, Jack is an insane psychopathic brute, and he behaves in that way in gameplay the whole time up until... What was it? Was it the boathouse where he mutates? I think it was. I think maybe yes and no. Because on the one hand, she's taking her time when I think she should be narratively more aggressive. On the other hand, the finger knives thing is kind of reflective. She does have an obsession with slicing things. I still don't know about that one. But, alright, revisit the question. How do I feel about Dimitrescu now? I think she's fine. I don't think she's bad. Her character has glaring flaws in the narrative, but her character itself, it's fine. I do think she was overhyped. Was I being reactionary? Yes, and I need to rewrite her part of my script now. God damn it. More work for me. Okay, Donna Beneviento. I don't think I'm too mixed up about her. We don't really get her personality because we don't spend any time with her, and the time that we do get with her does not show any personality. When we see Angie, that just comes across as crazy possessed doll thing. When we get Donna, it's just one line. Alright, forget what we see in the game. What is her personality, her character, supposed to be? I can't even make a guess at it. The official Capcom page doesn't offer much, just saying she wears mourning clothes. The death mourning, not the sunrise mourning. And we can imply that she's doing that because of either the death of her parents or Claudia, whoever that is. She seems to be passive. She doesn't really want to hurt anyone. That seems to be evident by the fact that instead of using her parasite to infect others to find vessels for Miranda or experiment on other people, she's using it to bring her dolls to life. And she used her hallucination thing to let the gardener see his wife and family again. And according to the gardener, she feared others because of a scar across her face, which we never see. And I'm pretty sure the growth over her eye when she dies is not the scar that he's referring to. And she shut herself off after her parents died and would only talk to the doll that her father gave her, Angie. So her personality is quiet, closed off, hides away, doesn't want to be seen. She's kind to the people that care about her, and she doesn't want to hurt people, so she uses her dolls to do it instead if Mother Miranda tells her to, like with Ethan. If she's communicating through Angie, and it's not a factor of Angie just being alive because of the parasite that they have, then the personality shifts. Because it feels like Angie is a completely separate thing, like it's not meant to be her talking through a doll. The glaring issue is that we simply do not interact with her enough to really know. All that there is to go on are the diary entries, her actions using Angie to do everything, using the dolls to attack Ethan, which contradicts my passive theory. But at the same time, with the one line of dialogue we get from her, she says, "Don't leave, I can't let you," which can imply she's doing this only because Miranda told her to. Yeah, the biggest thing that's holding me back is the lack of interaction. A minor thing that I get a little hung up on, in the storybook introduction thing at the beginning of the game, the Village of Shadows story, the actual storybook, it says she's a seamstress and she gives a kid a dress. But she's not, she's a doll maker. I don't even know what I'm supposed to pull from that, if anything. It seems strange to call her a seamstress in the introduction story that Miranda is reading to Rose, and then in the game she's, from what I can tell, not a seamstress. Her area of the house does not really reflect her. There's dolls and a ball of yarn, but that's it. The castle reflects Dimitrescu. The factory reflects Heisenberg. The lake reflects Moreau. The house itself does not reflect her. It's not about her. She wasn't the focus. It's about Ethan. The focus was the hallucinations and what Ethan sees. In 7, the areas reflected the family's personalities and them as characters. Marguerite was in the guest house where there were bugs and nests and spiders, and she became possessive of the lantern that serves as the key to the door to Evelyn's room. There was a note from her to Zoe. It felt like she was represented in that area. Lucas's area reflects him completely. The entrance is closed off, it's locked. The only way you can get in is if he gives you the key. There's TVs and cameras so he can constantly maintain distance. The only time you're really close to him is when he expects you to die. But even then, there's a wall between you. He is a coward. That is reflected in the environment the entire time. All right, Moreau. What about Moreau? We know he is the outcast of the four. They all ignore him, push him out of the way, look down on him. He has a very simple mind based on how he writes and has some very clear abandonment issues. He wants the others to see that he's not useless. He wants to be the best for Miranda. I don't know how the game wants us to feel about him, because we have all of that. And then Ethan comes along and he starts vomiting, transforms, bloats, and explodes, and Ethan calls him disgusting. Heisenberg calls him a freak. I don't feel disgust, though. I see him and I see it as just sad. Because he's very clearly the failed experiment in all senses of the word, without having him turn into a lichen or just straight up dying. And you find out that his infected form is basically his normal body, just almost completely taken over by growths and blisters. It's sad. That's horrible. And he turns into this freakazoid monster, and he apparently can't control when he transforms? I think I have more sympathy for Moreau out of all of the characters, but I don't know if that's intended. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel that way, or if I'm supposed to side with Ethan and just go, ugh, look at how gross he is, ew. All I know is that I don't feel that way. And Heisenberg, I think he remains the only character that I actually like, because he has motivation that I understand. He sees that we have a common enemy, so he offers to join forces, and not in the stereotypical mustache trolling bad guy way. His offer is built up on years of planning and plotting, fueled by hatred for Miranda for kidnapping him and infecting him, and then only keeping him around because he didn't turn into a lichen or die. He's the only one who wasn't appreciative of her, and that drive is what causes him to be completely focused on anything and everything that he can use to kill her. That includes Rose in whatever manner that meant. Yeah, my opinion of Heisenberg doesn't change. I'm very confident in my view of him. So, how do I feel about Family 2.0 now? I think Dimitrescu and Heisenberg are fine. I think Moreau is fine if I am meant to see him the way that I do, and I think Beneviento was wasted. I was being too reactionary with Dimitrescu, and I need to rewrite her part of my script. The others are fine. I might end up adjusting Moreau's section. Honestly, I'll probably just use bits of this video when I talk about the characters, because I think I said all that I wanted to say about them here. Yeah, alright, that's it for my free-flowing thoughts. Thanks for listening to me, I guess. I'm sorry there wasn't a whole lot here. How the fuck did this end up being 18 minutes? Jesus Christ. Yeah, whatever. See ya.